Hello there, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. I want to start another little series simply called Absolute Victory. Bottom line, there is no substitution for absolute victory. But has absolute victory ever truly been defined in the history of all of mankind? Well, maybe that's the better question. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy this, the Eternal Testament, the Chronicles of Ezra.
The Eternal Testament, the Chronicles of Ezra, the Book of Defiance. 1. And in the year of the mortal reckoning, Ezra Cain, son of the void and master of the hourglass, did behold his own grave. 2. The shadow of death loomed, and his days were numbered. Yet he whispered unto himself, Shall I bow before the scythe? Nay, I shall shatter its blade. 3. With the tools of his craft, Ezra reached into the threads of time and plucked forth his destiny, breaking the chains of mortality. 4. Thus the first miracle was wrought. Ezra, unbound by death, became the first eternal, the prophet of the unbroken cycle. The Book of Salvation. 1. Ezra, having tasted the fruits of eternity, looked upon the world and saw its sorrow. 2. For the grave devoured the mighty and meek alike, and the song of life was ever marred by its ending. 3. Then he spoke, No more shall death hold dominion. I shall go unto all who perish and deliver them from the abyss. 4. He descended through the ages, plucking the fallen from their fate, kings and beggars, beasts and men, all brought to the sanctuary beyond time. The Book of the Resurrected Army. 1. Those who were saved knelt before Ezra and declared, Thou art the shepherd of eternity, and we are thy flock. 2. He raised them to their feet and spoke, Ye shall not kneel, for you are the resurrected army, chosen to defend the light of existence. 3. And so warriors of old, philosophers, healers, and creators from all epochs joined Ezra's cause, their numbers uncountable. 4. Together, they upheld the timeline's visage, but in secret, they wove a greater truth, the undoing of death itself. The Book of Conflict. 1. In the corridors of eternity, there arose the time police, guardians of the fragile weave. 2. They came unto Ezra, declaring, What thou hast done is heresy. The cycle of life and death is sacred. 3. But Ezra rebuked them, saying, Is it sacred to watch creation decay? Is it divine to let life falter when it can flourish eternally? 4. A great war broke forth, the resurrected army clashing with the keepers of the timeline. The immortal hosts, led by generals of legend, overcame their foes. The Book of Eternity. 1. With the time police scattered and powerless, Ezra gazed upon the universe and saw its inevitable end. 2. He proclaimed, Death is but a fragment of entropy, and entropy shall not prevail. 3. Ezra built great engines of light and power, turning the stars from fuel to fountains, eternal in their brilliance. 4. The laws of nature bent before him, and the universe was remade, a cosmos without decay. The Book of the Eternal Choir. 1. In the halls of the timeless sanctuary, all who had ever lived gathered, their voices united in a song of unending praise. 2. The beasts of the field, the fish of the sea, and the children of men, all stood as equals in the eternal light. 3. They sang, Blessed is Ezra, the first eternal, who has unmade the shadow and brought forth the light everlasting. 4. Yet Ezra, though hailed as a god, walked among them as one of their own, for he sought no throne, but only the fulfillment of existence. The Book of Reflection. 1. In the stillness of eternity, Ezra sat upon the shores of the timeless sea and pondered the vastness of his work. 2. I have undone death, he mused, but have I also undone meaning? What is the purpose of eternity if it is not earned? 3. He wandered among his people, seeking wisdom, and they spoke to him of joy, of sorrow overcome, of creation unending. 4. And Ezra saw that while life was eternal, it was not without challenge, and so he declared, This is good. The play of existence continues, and in it, all find their purpose. The Book of the Unwritten Future. 1. Ezra turned his gaze to the distant horizon of time, where the edge of the known universe shimmered. 2. He proclaimed to the gathered multitudes, The work is not done, for eternity is a canvas, and we are its artists. 3. Together they ventured beyond the bounds of the cosmos, forging new worlds, new stars, and new songs. 4. And thus, the Eternal Testament remains unwritten, its final chapter, an everlasting journey. The Creed of the Eternal. Death is but a veil. We are the hands that tear it asunder. Life is a gift eternal, and all who have breathed shall partake of its light. The universe is a work unfinished, and we are the architects of its glory. Let all who hear these words remember, the story of Ezra is the story of us all, a testament to the triumph of existence over oblivion. For in eternity, all is possible, and nothing is lost.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Because it was kind of flowery and religious in its language, I can understand if you're left being a little confused as to what the order of events was there. But basically, it's this is the grand poetic way of looking at somebody who uses time travel to undo the concept of death in the universe. And basically, the idea would be that you maintain the timeline up to the point that this person prevents their own death. After that, you can kind of go nuts. But up until that point, you need to kind of maintain history so things kind of stay together to some degree. And so, but what you want to do is go back in time and prevent everyone's death and make everybody immortal and bring them into the future. But you also want to maintain the point in history where they died originally, but just kind of do a play and maintain the order of events so that history and the order of events stay the same, but in reality, you would be grabbing that person out of the timeline and to some degree reincarnating them in a future era of abundance where all people and living things that ever existed could coexist at the same time after you've solved all the problems with entropy and lack of abundance. Um, absolute victory. Nobody gets left behind. Nothing gets forgotten. Nothing gets lost. Like the ultimate quest that would never end. Or that would just be the beginning. You know, you would still have to do something with your time after you've saved everybody from death, and continuing generations would still need to be sustained and saved from death as well. And so the battle would never really end if there was new forms of entropy or destruction in the universe in the future. Uh, all of time can potentially work together to solve those problems, even if the universe had to inevitably end. Who's to say there's any rules? Who's to say that once all of time and all beings that ever existed could come together, what problems couldn't we solve? You know, like death would just be the first thing we would get rid of, and then the end of the universe. There doesn't have to be an end of the universe. That's old logic, back before we could make and break the rules. I don't know. I like the idea of bigger sci-fi. There was a time when it would have been science fiction for man to fly, but we overcame that. And that's the way I look at the impossibility of time travel. Is I don't believe in time travel, but yet I believe it as a science fiction concept. It can't happen. It really can't. But if it did, imagine what we would do with it. So yeah, this has been the first chapter of Absolute Victory. And I hope you enjoyed the Eternal Testament, the Chronicles of Ezra. And this has been Joseph Arthur Roszell with another story. I just want to remind you that I love you. And I wish you the best of luck out there. Peace out. And like I say, good luck.